today. We want to talk some week one recap. And T. Higgins had a whopping 0 points, same as I had this week in fantasy. And I was on my couch, so tough for the kid. And Tyreek Hill, man, I think it's time to start saying he's the best receiver in the league. Who, who can guard Tyreek, honestly? There's always that one like waiver wire that no one knows has a good year, so it might be him. Waiver wire pickups for the Jets players: Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook. What's up, you legends? It's your boy Drew from Catching a Vibe. Today, we want to talk some week one recap of the NFL season. Hope everyone had a good Sunday. Hopefully, your fantasy teams won or your team won. Unfortunately, my fantasy team stunk it up. I had the Bengals players. I had Joe Burrow, had Joe Mixon. Got me a whopping 13 points combined. It's a tough scene, but hey, just gotta rally the troops, regroup, come back stronger week two. Let's get into it. Let's start off with the Bengals Browns. I was really looking forward to this game. Wasn't sure what the outcome was going to be. I kind of thought the Bengals were going to beat the Browns, but Browns, man, they looked really good. Their defensive line, their defense. You gotta shout out Jim Schwartz. I think the Browns are going to be a problem defensively, but they're still the Browns. As Jamar said, Elves. He was a bit salty about us beating them. It's week one. Week one is very surprising. It was the first time since 2006 they won a home opener. How crazy is that? So that was cool seeing it as a Browns fan. The Bengals offensive line just looks so bad. They keep getting these free agent offensive linemen. It's not working. Orlando Brown, Miles was having a field day with him. Joe Burrow coming off that calf injury, he missed a lot of time. He'll be all right, but man, three points is tough as a quarterback. It's almost like not even starting a quarterback. That's how bad it was. Mixon, I was kind of encouraged, he was getting involved in the passing game, but that offensive line scares me. I'm kind of pissed I picked Joe Mixon, but hey, we'll figure it out there. Jamar Chase had 9.1 points. The guy who was talking about the Browns are a bunch of elves. Second highest scoring Bengals player. You know, him and that Denzel Ward matchup is always fun to watch. Seeing those two go after it. And T. Higgins had a whopping 0 points, same as I had this week in fantasy. And I was on my couch, so tough for the kid. Justin Jefferson, he had 24 points. Had 9 catches, 150 yards, no tutty. That's tough. But hey, we'll take 24 points. And Tyreek Hill, man, I think it's time to start saying he's the best receiver in the league. Because who can guard Tyreek, honestly? He's just so dependent on Tua. If Tua stays healthy this year, I definitely could see Tyreek finishing as the receiver one in fantasy. So whoever got a Tyreek, shout out to you. You should have a good season. Not worry. I was pissed in the vlog. He fell to 8 right before me. God, I could have wished I got Tyreek, but let's see. Diggs is still a good player, so I can't complain too much. Brandon Ayuk, he went off. Me and my dad in our previous pod, we were big on Ayuk. We think he's the receiver one for San Fran, and he showed that this week. Debo didn't do too much, nothing too crazy. I don't expect Ayuk to score 35 each week, but I think he'll be a solid receiver too the rest of the year. Austin Eckler, I mean, this dude is unreal. The man scores all the time. He got banged up though. Austin Eckler is a beast. Hopefully he's not too banged up and won't miss any time. Aaron Jones went off. He had 2 touchdowns. He had a long catch. Going to the rookie running backs, Bijan Robinson. He had a good game. He had 20 points. He had 10 carries, 6 catches, his one touchdown. He made a nice move, made a guy miss. He looks hard to tackle, honestly. So I'm excited to see his role. I was kind of nervous about him because Arthur Smith doesn't really get Kyle Pitts involved, and you know how Kyle Pitts is the most athletic tight end ever. Kyle Pitts did nothing again. He scored 6 points. That might be a career high in Kyle Pitts' young NFL career fantasy wise. Jahmyr Gibbs had 6 or 7 carries. He looks good, breaking tackles. Looks like the most explosive player on the Lions. You know, I saw a podcast that Jared Goff and Ahmad St. Brown were talking about how Jahmyr Gibbs is like one of the fastest guys on the team, and they think he could beat Jameson Williams in a 40-meter race. But Dan Campbell came out and said that Jahmyr is going to be limited through the first couple of games. He didn't want to overwork him. So I think middle to late in the year, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to show that he's going to be a good RB2 this year. So you got to stay patient, hold on. Dallas defense, oh my God, how bad did the Giants look? Jesus, they looked like some high schoolers out there. 35 points from a defense. That's that's unheard of. Definitely won't do that again, but they'll be a top three fantasy defense this year. You know, they got Micah Parsons. They shored up that defensive line, getting that rookie from Michigan. They got Trayvon Diggs. They got Stephon Gilmore. Gilmore's like 34 and he's still locking dudes up. J.K. Dobbins, man, can we talk about how sad it is to see him just getting banged up every year? He has so much potential coming out of Ohio State. I'm a big Ohio State fan. I thought he was going to be a star in the pros, but injuries suck, dude. I don't know. It's going to be hard to bounce back from this Achilles. Hopefully he does. He's out for the year. You want to look for Gus the Boss or Justice Hill. Justice Hill had 2 touchdowns yesterday. That might be a good waiver pickup. It was a really low scoring week of fantasy. Like most of the star players only scored like 10 or 15, except for like CMC, Jay Jettas, Tyreek. Were like the only ones that like produced and had a good week. A lot of the quarterbacks struggled too. Just weird, but it's week 1 of the NFL. It's always kind of sloppy at the beginning. All right, let's talk the Monday night game. That was a crazy ass game. Can't believe Rodgers got hurt on the third play of the game. Josh Allen threw 4 interceptions, and the Jets still found a way to win. That was crazy. But for the Jets players, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, that kind of like ruins their upside in the fantasy world. Garrett Wilson had that crazy ass touchdown. He's him, but it's Zach Wilson, bro. I don't know how much you can trust Zach Wilson. You know, in the preseason, Zach Wilson looked better than like his first or second drive of the game. He threw an interception, looked like himself. Breece Hall, I thought, looks good. He had that big run. He looked very explosive. Dalvin Cook, you know, it's a new team. It's probably going to take a couple weeks for him to get in since he signed late in training camp. I'm nervous about the Jets players. I might, you know, Garrett Wilson had receiver 1 upside now with Zach Wilson. He'll probably be a good receiver too. His targets, I feel like, are just going to be inconsistent. So I try to trade Garrett Wilson now. Bills, Josh Allen, man, Madden curse talking about how it's not real. That thing looked real last night. 4 interceptions. That was the second game Josh Allen ever threw 4 interceptions. Josh Allen, I mean, he's a great player, but I think Burrow's the second best quarterback in the league, and he struggled. So just shows you the top guys, other than Mahomes, can have a poor week. Stephon Diggs had 26 points last night. He played great. Still high on him. I don't know. He might ask for a trade after last night. James Cook. James Cook looked pretty solid. I wasn't very high on him coming into the year, but I don't know. I was encouraged if you have him as like a RB3, RB2. Once that Bills offense gets rolling, it could be a good play. Waiver wire pickups. Here's some guys I have. I have Matt Stafford. Stafford looked good. He had over 300 yards passing without Cooper Kupp. Once Cooper Kupp comes back, the Rams could have a good offense. I'm not saying they're going to be a great team. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but they'll be in a lot of those shootout games. I think that's going to cause Cooper Kupp to be a good fantasy receiver if he comes back. They got that Puka BYU rookie receiver. He went off. There's always that one like waiver wire that no one knows has a good year, so it might be him. Um, Eagles running back one looks like it's Kenneth Gainwell. He had majority of the snaps. DeAndre Swift didn't play that much, and Penny was a healthy scratch. So I'd keep an eye out on that backfield. Kyren Williams, Cam Akers owners. Sadly, I'm one of them. Doesn't look too good for the boy. I think Kyren Williams is going to play a lot. He looked a lot more explosive, had bigger runs, 2 touchdowns. So if you can, try to pick Kyren Williams off waivers. And another running back, Josh Kelly. Eckler got banged up. Eckler's a beast. He hopefully doesn't miss any time, but if he does miss some time, I think Joshua Kelly's going to be a good flex or RB2 if you're weak. Go pick up Josh Kelly. Receivers, they got Romeo Doubs. He had 2 touchdowns. He has a clear connection with Jordan Love. I don't know if he's going to score 2 touchdowns every week when Christian Watson comes back, but they definitely have a connection. I think Jordan Love's going to play well this year, so Dobbs would be a solid like bench or flex pickup. And Puka, the Rams receiver one until Cooper Kupp comes back. Tutu Atwell also looks pretty good. You might want to snag those guys if you're weak at receiver. And another one, Zay Jones. Shout out the boy Zay Jones. He's a ball player now. He outplayed Christian Kirk. He scored 16 points this week. Surprising considering how much the Jacks are paying Christian Kirk to. And if you need a tight end off waivers, if you have Kyle Pitts, I'm sorry, but your boy's going to help you out here. Hayden Hurst, he's with the Panthers now. He had 15 points this week with that crappy Panthers offense. Sorry, Panthers fans. Then Hunter Henry, there's no Jonnu Smith. Hunter Henry could have a decent fantasy year. I'd keep an eye out for that. He had 16 points this week against the Eagles, who has a pretty good defense. So, yeah, those are my waiver wire pickups and recap of week one of the NFL. Let me know what you guys think, what you guys thought of week one, or guys you're looking at to add or drop. Let me know in the comments. But that wraps up this video of Catching a Vibe. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, please subscribe. I'll be posting videos like this throughout the NFL season. I do podcasts, I do vlogs, I do memes. I do it all here. I appreciate it. But we'll see you next time. Peace.